Our bottleneck here at Hendrick Health is the ICU. That's where we run into trouble in dealing with the recent surge that we are seeing in COVID patients. Our ICU before the transaction would frequently run at or near maximal capacity with things that we were used to seeing on a daily basis. With the addition of COVID, that's been one more burden on an already strained system. Almost half of the patients currently admitted to our ICU have been admitted here due to respiratory compromise and requiring intensive care for pulmonary issues related to COVID. When a patient is admitted to the ICU for these types of conditions, it's usually not a brief stay. They are usually admitted and stay for up to 2-3 weeks or more. Some people have asked why we can't just take a nurse from another floor and continue to expand our ICU capabilities. The issue there is training and experience with this type of patient and with the type of equipment and medications that are being used in order to care for these patients. Since March, we've been implementing contingency plans to stretch the hospital's capability in order to adapt to the number of patients that have been coming into the hospital. That includes expanding the number of beds on regular floors dedicated to strictly COVID patients and putting in place the measures to keep staff and other patients safe. In the ICU, the contingency plan has been to overflow into areas that allowed us space as well as an area to bring in the proper equipment, ventilators, monitors, things that were needed to provide for those patients needing critical care. A lot of emphasis is placed on the trauma services area and the percent of patients related to admissions for COVID in those trauma services areas. When an area reaches a level of 15% of capacity due to COVID-19, that area becomes eligible for aid from the state, but also has certain restrictions placed upon it, such as restrictions on elective procedures, business closures, or restrictions on capacity in businesses, and things that we have all become too familiar with. I think people don't always understand what is considered an elective procedure. Elective procedures are anything that can be rescheduled. That includes surgeries on your heart, on your head, craniotomies, things that aren't routine everyday surgeries, but by definition are elective. Here in our trauma service area, I don't think we would ever be capable of reaching 15%. In our service area, the number of staffed beds far exceeds the actual number of beds that we have to deal with COVID-19. Those beds include hospitals that are for non-medical issues, rehab facilities, and several beds that are counted in small hospitals throughout our region that are not capable of dealing with COVID-19. Therefore, that means that the primary hospitals equipped to deal with COVID-19 in our trauma service area are within the Hendrick Health system. We appreciate the city and county officials who have been receptive to our message and have reached out to us for information on the current state of how things are within our community. And we look forward to working hand in hand with them to try to figure out how best to move forward in a safe way that doesn't completely shut down our economy, but allows everybody to work together in order to deal with this and bend that curve.